Bienvenidos, fans of cinema across the planet. This is another dose of the horror show. Welcome, Jaime and Fuego here, and I have a special guest. First time on the horror show, guys. Say what's up to the crowdsies, man.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Luis.
Yes, this is a debate that we had. Luis. Anyway, Sweet Lou is a lunatic, man, and he loves cinema, and he's not just somebody who loves, just your standard type. We're talking the frightastic and the scarific, and that's why we're here to talk about Southbound, man.
Well, this next one is for all you lost souls. All you sinners racing down that long road to redemption, but heading straight into that pit of darkness up ahead. We're all on the same endless highway.
Ugh.
Of course we get a flat.
Guys, car!
Why don't you come to our place?
This place feels like a bad acid trip. Guys, we have got to go.
I'm not going anywhere.
This is another anthology horror. We've seen kind of a resurgence in the genre lately, right, man? With stuff like Tales from Halloween and even things like Black Mirror becoming popular again.
VHS,
Yeah.
which I think is probably one of the best. But Black Mirror, I'm glad you brought up Black Mirror.
I had
because
to, man.
This reminded me a little bit. I have some thoughts about like.
It wasn't like full-on horror, you know? It was more kind of, there was a psychological aspect to it, there was a thrilling aspect. I mean, Southbound, going south, going down below, you can take your guesses as to what they were implying, but here on the horror show, we kind of try to do the Infuegotainment troupe from time to time when we're doing an in-theater. So, the bueno, the malo, the feo, a little good, a little bad, a little ugly. Some good stuff about this. I love the concept of being on the road. I mean, we're here in Arizona right now, and this looked like so much of the Southwest.
I was like, dude,
Cali, AZ, Nevada,
like
we're
that.
just driving through, so just the atmosphere.
The good about it was I loved how it just threw you into everything. Like it didn't it wasn't a build up. It just like immediately boom, you're just thrown right into everything. All was it 4 stories?
It was either 4 or 5, and they all kind of interlocked, which was cool.
Yeah.
They just kept that vibe going.
Yeah, it was a continuation. Like it didn't just like cut to black and a new story. It just it flowed perfectly. Like the road itself, it just kept circling.
Yeah. And we're talking a highway with no road signs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if these characters didn't catch a hint as to where they were, what was going on, well, I mean, things over the course of all of these tales kind of hit you with it. But I also loved, besides the concept of music, man, I thought whether it was like the 80s synthesizer type thing.
Help! I need some help!
Or even the use of old-timey music, and there's one song in particular, Don't Let the Party End, from the trailer.
Yeah.
That kept popping up over
Especially
and
at the
over.
last one, that really worked well. I see. I like when they do that. There's something weird about taking like an old-timey song that's supposed to bring like good times and all that, and
make it scary.
Make it scary. I'm a big fan of when people do that.
Dude, they did it in A Nightmare on Elm Street. I know for sure.
Insidious with that Tiny Tim song that was playing.
And Phantoms, the whole "I'm Falling to Pieces."
Yeah.
That was another one.
And Lynch is awesome at that too. Lynch is good at using that kind of music, in like a very dark, twisted setting. So that was good. I really did like the music was awesome, and the fact that they just threw you into everything. It's like boom, boom, boom. You know what's going on. You said the bad.
The bad. So if we were gonna go into some malo stuff, some stuff that was a little less desirable, maybe I'm too critical of horror movies sometimes when the logic just goes out the door. When characters are in these situations now, Southbound, I try not to make these spoiler reviews, man, and here on the horror show we always try to keep that in tow, but if you've watched the trailer, this is kind of purgatory, just kind of like a cyclical type of thing going on, and you see that happen with lots of characters, so maybe that's a reason for the logic just going, see ya! But, I mean, anything bad that you can think of?
The only my criticism for it was like technical stuff. One, I felt the editing was a bit jarring.
Okay.
Like there was something about the editing.
This
that,
man has real credentials too, by the way. He's not just a silly heavy metal horror guy like me.
Yeah, I'm just a
Liz has been to
nerd.
school for this stuff.
Yeah, I'm just a nerd for cinema, and like as you get older, you start noticing things like editing.
Yeah.
So I felt
some
the
shaky cameras. too.
shaky cam, which I was okay with, but I feel like the editing it just was so quick. Which
Almost too quick then?
Wait, yeah, a
Not
little
letting
too
it
quick.
simmer as much as it needed
Yeah,
to,
it, like it
maybe?
didn't allow you to like let things seep in. It just like went boom, 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 which is weird because that's how the story was. But it
Yeah.
worked for the story, but the editing didn't work that well. And also, you know, you're shooting night, you're shooting on the road. Like it was pretty dark. It was a dark.
There were certain scenes where I was squinting. because I was
You
trying
had to
see
make out
what
some
was-
of the images because it was just way too dark. So that's my bad. It's like the editing and like the lighting.
Yeah.
Could have been a little bit. I don't know. They could have thought about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
If I was gonna say one more bad, maybe that, and it's inevitable with anthology, you're gonna like some stories better than others.
Yeah.
You know, like good story. The second one I thought was great. The one where the musician girls get picked up on the
that was
side
my
of the road.
favorite
That was
one.
the best one.
I
Yeah.
love that one a lot, dude. I love the fact that again it reminded me
One,
of
we've
Texas
got
Chainsaw.
some hotties.
Yeah, you got really attractive girls who
Yeah.
look like normal girls. Like they're not just like your standard like, oh, they're hot because they were born hot. No, they average. Like it's like girls I meet every day of my life.
We're here on Mill
Yeah.
Avenue in Tempe, so this guy just has women like this. He's like, oh yeah, that's just regular time.
The way they dress, I'm like, I know girls who dress like that. The whole them on the road as a band, it reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Big time
the
vibe.
whole,
Oh, yeah.
and just the fact that they were just they were cool chicks. You know, like her.
They were the kind of
smoking
chicks you'd want to
weed.
hang out and have a drink with. I
Yeah.
mean, once again, the logic disappearing, another malo, they're dumb enough to start just blazing inside of this house of these people who picked them up. So it's like every person, something little too convenient almost happens that kind of sets them back down when they think they're going to get away with something. And I guess that's a good Theo segue, man. If we're going to do some ugly, way more questions than answers in this movie for pretty much every story.
Yeah,
too.
the whole time you're watching it and you're like waiting for. And it's so weird because we were talking earlier about M. Night Shyamalan. And, like,
Oh, yeah, and
people
the twist
wanting
ending.
the twist, and I'm like, I'm not. I don't need a twist. But with this one, I was waiting for like kind of that aha.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah, and that was almost the bridge to the next story in most cases, right? Was the twist. So
I was waiting for that, like, some kind of, I don't know, just something to be like, and you're here.
Yeah.
This is why all this is happening.
I just wanted a little more motivation, man. Like, why are these characters doing? And there's certain like twists where what had happened before would just give a lot more context, maybe, to what the consequence was, and we never figured that out for some of these stories.
Maybe I'm thinking to myself, maybe perhaps like this is going to be like a VHS.
Yeah, I think it could be.
Where it's going to
Any
become
segments.
like, there's going to be sequels, and they're going to do Southbound 2.
Yeah.
I
can see it. They filmed it on a shoestring budget, I would
Yeah.
imagine, for God's
Yeah.
sake.
I can imagine Southbound Road to Hell.
Yeah.
Like that's the sequel.
Dude, this has already received such good press from people like Rolling Stone and notable publications have said this is top notch. And well, I don't know if I'd say it's like 4 or 5 stars. As far as anthology, it was a solid entry, man. It was.
Like you don't get like the anthology horror. It's not something that's like huge, especially like, going to the movies. Like
that's why we're at an art theater.
That's
right
why,
now, right?
that's why it's like it's only playing for a week here at the Valley Art.
Valley Art, Parkins Theaters, local, Arizona.
And like anthologies, I think is a hard sell.
A little bit easier lately, but it's not cross that. It's not like mainstream.
It's not mainstream yet. And the thing is, like, after getting out of this, I was like, man, like I'm glad I saw it in the theaters on the big screen.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, man, I could see this becoming like a Black Mirror, like a Netflix, Hulu, something like that.
Yeah,
where it's
man,
like an
squash
anthology.
2 or 3 stories into an hour show, and you could go full on Hulu or Amazon or any of those, even on a pay cable, I think.
Yeah.
The effects sometimes, there was enough blood for a few of the scenes, and even the time they used CGI, which is something we like to talk about here on the horror show. There was one part in particular I thought was effective and good. And
yeah, like usually CG in like horror films takes me out of it, and I can't stand it. but they found a way to like utilize it, and it worked.
Yeah,
like
they didn't overdo it.
Yeah, they didn't overdo it. It didn't stand out too much. Like obviously you're like, okay, that's CG, but it just worked. I mean, especially when it was like in the distant shots.
Yeah,
that was when you see those whatever in the distance.
It's in the trailer. You see these ominous dark shadows that you assume are like an apparition or a ghost or spirit of some sort, and I don't know. It kind of works to tie everything together too. So,
but no, I agree with you. I love the fact that it is a whole desert setting, like just on the road.
And see, we're coming back to the good, guys.
Yeah.
You know? And we're looking at it with the critical glasses right now because it could have been better. Which is why if they do more installments, a series, whatever. Hey man, I don't think it could get any worse. I mean, only better.
Yeah. Like I mean, this is definitely something where you're like, okay, I want them to build upon it. Like you're creating a world now, and I'm interested in this world. I want to see more stories from this world.
It was also funny that how ugly the DJ tying everything together was too, because you had this radio DJ on the station they all kept turning to, and I was trying 106.1. I was trying to figure out what that dial was. Yeah, what does it mean?
What's that
Maybe
mean?
it's nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know?
That reminded me a lot of Candyman 2. One of the things I loved about Candyman 2
that was the one in Nolan's Farewell to the Flesh, right?
Yeah, where like it was there was the DJ in New Orleans, and he was like throughout the movie you hear his voice, and there's something really ominous about just a voice and no face to it, and like there's a segment,
especially in a creepy setting, it just adds more creepiness.
Was it the third story?
Yeah,
with the dude.
Yeah, where he hits the
him being on the phone. I love that.
And maybe this is bad because I predicted it happening, but another fatal thing, another ugly thing is where this guy is listening at a particular point in the story that my friend here just mentioned, and laughter. And the funny thing is, I was expecting laughter at some point because I'm like, they're just totally effing with this guy.
Right?
The dead have nothing better to do than to fuck with the living,
man.
You know, they have anything better to do. So it's ugly, and yet it totally made sense.
I think the second story and the third story are definitely my favorite.
And they interlock directly too, which is what's cool about it. So.
There's a movie playing on like when they're going to the on the TV.
Yeah, the black and white one.
I'm pretty sure that's Carnival of Souls.
Okay.
Like this old.
A title I've heard but can't say I've ever seen.
Yeah, and like I don't want to spoil like what that movie's about because I feel like that is significant to what this is about.
Is it one you'd recommend?
Oh yeah, it's a great old school. I mean, if you like Romero's, Dawn of the Dead, it's not a zombie movie, but it feels kind of the same, black and white. It's very like, I don't know, it's meditative. Like you just you watch it and you're like, oh, this is kind of seeping in, and like now I see what's going on. But they play that movie throughout this movie, and like noticing that, I'm like, okay, now I know what this is all about here. So I like that, like those little touches.
That's just him giving you guys a little hint as to what may be really transpiring.
If you know anything about that movie, then you'll get an idea of this.
Do you agree? Was it a Carnival of Souls per se? Yeah, man, but I gotta say, I would recommend it. I gotta extend a grande gracias for our special guest here on the horror show today. It was a lot of fun. Cecil, I wish you could have made it, man. We will definitely be talking about this though. And do you have like social media or like creative projects that you'd like to toss out and give a little plug to?
I'm gonna plug my friends.
Yeah, do it.
Because I don't have anything myself, but if you go on YouTube,
you've done stuff though, man.
I mean, I haven't.
Rob Zombie's badass haunted.
I was part of the haunted house. I did all that, but like now I don't. But I got friends.
Okay.
And I'm gonna plug my friends. I'll plug Rebel on Etsy and Instagram.
Cool.
If you're into clothes, and I can't even on YouTube. It's videos, little short videos shot using the GTA. So those
really, I've heard about that, man. That can get borderline horrific.
Yeah, my buddy Lee, this is his thing, and this is his little company that he does. So it's called I Can't Even on YouTube.
Nice.
So it's great videos. I'm gonna plug them because again, I don't have anything going on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna plug my buddies.
You have loads of insight to give them.
I do. I do have a lot of insight.
I'm just gonna say Lou. I'm not gonna butcher shit, man. Lou the lunatic, He was so awesome to go and see this flick with me. This was a crossing of the streams and a combining of horrific forces to scope this
Something
out.
that should have we've been talking about for a while since we met.
Friends, I mean, hey, we bonded over horror, and that's why we're standing here talking to you guys about it right now. So I can extend a grande gracias to Lou. You can find me, Jaime and Fuego, at Jaime and Fuego on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and obviously here on the Horror Show channel. That is the destination on YouTube. So once again, man, gracias, and until all of you guys get to see a little bit more of the Frightastic coverage soon, stay scared. And yeah, watch Southbound. Bitch.